Hello again, and welcome back to Drivcraft. You can practice speaking backwards so that when your words are reversed, they still make sense. But here's something even stranger. The digits in the speed of light are the same as the latitude of the Great Pyramid of Giza. And if you rearrange the letters in the meaning of life, you get the engine of a film, or the fine game of nil. What does this mean? Are these just coincidences, or is there something more? Why do we find hidden messages so easily? Why does a simple coincidence give us chills? When you reverse Neil Armstrong's famous words, "small step for man," it sounds like man will spacewalk. Lee Harvey Oswald, who killed President John F. Kennedy, defended the Fair Play for Cuba committee in an interview. Now listen to how it sounds when we reverse his words and the Fair Play for Cuba. Is this a coincidence or a subconscious confession? It's a coincidence. Anyone who says "and the fair play for Cuba" and reverses it will hear the same thing. By the way, the app we're using is called Virtual Recorder. It's a quick and easy way to reverse your speech. Matthew Hudson in his book The 7 Laws of Magical Thinking notes that if you record yourself and play it backwards, it can sound like "happy birthday" to you. Cool, right? If a word reads the same forwards and backwards, it's called a palindrome. But if a word or phrase sounds the same forwards and backwards, it's a phonetic palindrome. For example, say yes, played backwards, it sounds like say. Pretty neat, huh? Here's a poem by Karsten Johansson. Some people can speak backwards on the spot. It's really cool to see them in action. Check out Guy's video linked in the description for more cool coincidences. Apophenia is the perception of connections or patterns in information. One type of apophenia is pareidolia, seeing or hearing things that aren't really there. For example, hearing your name in the sound of running water or seeing faces in random objects. Our brains are good at this because it helped our ancestors survive. If there was any doubt whether something in the shadows was a threat, it was safer to assume it was. Apple had to change their iTunes Shuffle feature because users complained that similar songs often played together. This is expected in true randomness, but didn't feel random to us. So, Apple introduced a smart shuffle to make it seem more random to our pattern-loving brains. Our ability to find patterns also shows in how we sync music with videos. For example, a dancing Spider-Man animation can sync up with any music you play. Why? The movements match common song tempos and have various rhythms, making them seem to fit many different songs. When we look for coincidences, we often fall into confirmation bias, where we notice only what confirms our beliefs and ignore the rest. For instance, the coincidence between the speed of light and the pyramid's latitude is less surprising when you realize we chose where to place the decimal point. There are many known coincidences between movies and albums, like Dark Side of the Moon and The Wizard of Oz. Entire communities sync movies and music, driven by selection bias and the law of near enough. Some coincidences are tragic. In 1864, Robert Lincoln was saved from falling onto train tracks by Edwin Booth. Less than a year later, Edwin's brother, John Wilkes Booth, killed Robert's father, President Abraham Lincoln. There are laws explaining these events, like the law of truly large numbers and the improbability principle. For example, while the chance of being struck by lightning is low, it was higher for someone like Walter Summerford, who was struck 3 times in his life. And even after his death, lightning struck his gravestone. Probability laws explain why unusual events aren't so rare. With over 7 billion people on Earth, the chance of something rare happening to one of us every day is high. As Percy Diaconis said, the truly unusual day would be when nothing unusual happens. Thanks for watching.